Right, and now she's in a spot of bother, is Eala at the net. Oh dear, that was ugly. The drive volley was better than the one before, but it could hardly be any worse. But then Eala at the net was in a really awkward position, to be fair. And it was quite easy, I would say, for Osorio to win that point in the end. Anyway, listen, 2 match points for the Colombian, 40-15. She has been the better player so far. Misses the first serve. So a second serve here on match point for Camila Osorio for a spot in the Philippines Open semi-final. Backhand return from Alex is not bad. Forehand now from Eala into the backhand of Osorio. Forehand from Eala. Osorio just keeping it easy at the moment. Nice forehand there from Eala. But is she going to put this drive volley away? Not outright. Yes, she is in terms of winning the point. Osorio nearly defended it. Eala kept her nerve there, considering she was facing match point down. I always think drive volleys, when you're match point down, oof. Or any pressure point, really. Just remember Djokovic in that Wimbledon final from a few years ago against Alcaraz. Anyway, another match point here for Camila Osorio, the second one. She wasn't able to take it on the first occasion. She was probably a little bit cautious in that previous rally. 40-30. Misses the first serve. Eala has been getting into the Osorio service games today, including a couple of times she's broken her, so maybe more than a couple, actually. Backhand return from Eala is decent, but it's not going to win the point outright. Is she going to make that forehand? Oh, dearie me, Osorio defending with all her life, and incredibly so. Now there's a net cord. What a weird point this is turning into be. What a weird point, and it ends. Eala can't deal with that passing shot. Honestly, it was a crazy point to, in a way, a slightly unusual match that ultimately goes the way of the Colombian. But I'm telling you now, if Eala had won that last point and got it back to deuce, who knows where that second set and even the match could have gone. The Alex Eala Philippine Women's Open journey is at an end. She bows out, but it is the Colombian Camila Osorio who plows on and into the semi-finals. Let's have a quick look at the stats, shall we, from this particular affair. Well, of course, the most important stat of all is that it is a 6-4, 6-4 win for the Colombian Osorio. 1 ace apiece, 5 double faults from Eala. That will disappoint her today. 57% first serves in for both players, winning just over 50%, both of them, in terms of the points won. But Eala winning 40% of her second serves, as is often the case. Her serve was very attackable today. And unfortunately, if you're then going to hit double faults as well, you're going to be in a spot of bother. But as you can see, maybe from the break points won, Eala was kind of hanging on to being really ruthless on her breakpoint opportunities, whereas Osorio had 12 breakpoint opportunities on the Eala serve, taking 6 of them. But the margins were still pretty fine at the end of the day. 67 points for Osorio and 60 for Eala. And if Eala could have made that pickup volley, albeit a very difficult pickup volley at the end, who knows how the match might have panned out from there on the match point. In terms of the story of the match, well, they exchanged early breaks at the beginning of the first set before Osorio got a crucial break and ultimately served it out at 5-4. Osorio went up a break on a couple of occasions in the second set, only to be reeled in before we had a pretty dramatic final game of the match in some respects, in that we had Osorio go up 40-15, but the aggressive play from Eala managed to get it back to 40-30. And then we had a weird match point where it looked like Eala was up in the point. Osorio was defending with all her life and defending extremely well. Eala then has a bit of a fortunate net cord that she gets away with, but nevertheless, she's still very much into the point. And then Eala at the net. A good passing cross-court shot from Osorio that Eala just wasn't able to pick up enough. She picked it up, clipped the top of the net, and landed back on her side of the net. There was a warm embrace at the match's conclusion, and it is the Colombian Osorio who progresses into the next round, whilst Eala will have to lick her wounds And hopefully she can get herself fit, because I do think that at various stages, both today and throughout the tournament, we have seen Eala's movement compromised a little bit. She will not be using that as an excuse. I'm suggesting it today in particular that she wasn't quite at 100% with the 2 leg injuries that she's picked up, and she needed medical timeouts in her previous 2 matches. And ultimately, I think it may well have been the difference between a second and at least a third set today. Eala will be back and is due to be back at, I think it's the Qatar Open WTA event coming up in a couple of weeks. One of the Middle Eastern tournaments anyway. Let's have a quick look at the WTA schedule for 2026. But she might end up having to pull out. We'll see. Yes, it is the Qatar Open in Doha that she is signed up for as a wild card. I think she's going to be getting quite a few wild cards, is Alex Eala. Anisimova, of course, is the reigning champ there at the WTA 1000 event. But yes, on that list alongside Eala is Katerina Alexandrova, Mira Andreeva, the reigning champion, of course, Anisimova, Paula Badosa, and many, many more. Leylah Fernandez, Coco Gauff is there too. And as I said, at the moment, a wild card on the list is Alex Eala, but we'll see, looking at her fitness and see how she can be and see if she can be fit in time for that tournament. But anyway, her Colombian Open is at an end. Her Philippine Women's Open is at an end in a 6-4, 6-4 loss to the Colombian. There you go. Camila Osorio. And so we'll be back again soon. You know the drill. Hit the like button and all that other jazz. Also, make sure to check us out on Instagram at Talking Tennis TT. And of course on TikTok as well. And here we have Eddie from Tennis Asia, look, sharing this image with you on the screen that hopefully you can see. Yeah. Oh, she's playing the Dubai WTA 500. My bad, Skywalker. Thank you for correcting me on that one. I get these Middle Eastern tournaments that come on the back of the Australian Open. Yeah, muddled up from time to time. So it's the Dubai 500. I think it's going to be tricky for her to be, 100% for that one. That's the week after the Qatar one. Okay. So that's where she's got the wild card. Gotcha. That's the WTA 500 that Mira Andreeva is the reigning champ for. Yeah, if we have a look at the players list there, I might see her on it. I'm hoping I see her on it. But we will see in time. Okay. Anyway, yes, Eddie's tweet here. Camila Osorio beats the home favorite, Alex Eala, 6-4, 6-4 to move into the semifinals. Eala was struggling greatly on serve, but she did have her moments, but just wasn't able to sustain it. Osorio was solid. I thought the slice, by the way, from Osorio today did trouble a slightly hampered Alex Eala. And of course, now the Colombian will take on Solana Sierra in the second match, the second semifinal tomorrow. And yeah, all up for grabs. I think Vekic is going to win the title, but we will see. But for now, thanks for joining, and you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.